Okay, we're up to Daf Pei Hey, and we're going through some just interesting cases of tfisa. We had a machloikis between Rav Tarfon and Rabbi Akiva, where the tfisa grabbing onto something helps by the metaltalin of a yoirish. That Rabbi Tarfon was the opinion that it did help. Rabbi Akiva was the opinion that it did not help. So we're on Pei Hey Amid Aleph. Avimi braid the Rav Avahu. I'd say it's about 10 lines down. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. And it's 10. Good. Avimi braid the Rav Avahu. Avimaski bezuzei bechuzoi. So Avimi, the son of Rabbi Avahu, he owed money into the house of Chuzai. That Chuzai were people, and he owed them money. Shadrinu biyad chama berei the Rabba bar Avahu. So he sent the money in the shliach. He made Chama, the son of Rabba Avahu, as a shliach to pay up the chayv. Azul Chama went, and Parinu, when he paid up the chayv to the Bechuzai. Amalahu. So he said to the Bechuzai, Habali Shtara, give me the star of the chayv. Give me the star of the chayv. So Amrulech Bechuzai told Chama, Sitroininu. Right? That's for another chayv. In other words, what you paid up now is for an old chayv. That star is for another chayv. In other words, Chama was under the impression that he was paying up, there was only one chayv, and he was paying up the one chayv. And to assure that the chayv would not be recollected at a future date, he was going to take the star. And now he's informed, guess what? You know what? The money you gave me is for another chayv, and I'm keeping the star. So Asla Kamed the Rabbi Avahu, he came from the Rabbi Avahu, Amalei. So Rabbi Avahu said to Chama, Islacha Sadeh the Parasinu, do you have Adis that you paid him? So Amalei loy. So Amalei, Migu the Yechadon loy malahoyu dvaram ya'olam. Migu, they could have said lahadam nishka tzoygin and nishka floygin. In other words, they could have said you never paid up in the first place. Yechadon nami lemeimar sitroininu. There's a migu, they're able to say sitroy. You know that the bechuzai would be able to say that there was another chayv. Now, had there been Adim, that what you paid up, the migu makamed would be finished. Now the question is, does Chama owe anything to Avimi? Does he owe? In other words, was he shuld in not getting the pay? In other words, what should he have done? Give me the star and I'll pay up, right? Instead of first paying and then getting the star, then he should have gone ahead and say what? Give me. Is he shuld in that field? Now let's see. I'll be in a sec. Okay. Says the Gemara. So we want to know the shlume shlichi mai. Does he have to pay? Some Ravashi Chazin, and we'll see. If Avimi had told Chama, take the star for Havzuze, all right, then Mishalim, he'd have to pay because he did not do a shlichus, because he paid before the star. But however, if he told him Havzuze, give him money, the shakal star, then take the star, loy Mishalim. However, in fact, it's not so. Benkach ubenkach, Mishalim, he has to pay anyway. Why? The Amalei, because Avimi could have told Chama that Kunesha Resich, I sent you for my tikkun to take care of things, loyla visi, and not what, and not to mess me up. Okay, yes,
yeah. Why couldn't he have asked for a receipt?
What?
Why?
The star is the receipt.
Yeah, but there is such a thing as writing a receipt that you got.
Okay,
paid.
maybe it's a place they didn't write a shiver. We said that the places they didn't write a shiver. When you write a shiver, when they return the star. That's when you write a shayva. Normally, we just return the star.
Okay.
I mean, we had it all the time. We have this all the time. Right. So again, they don't write receipts. They return the star. That's your. In other words,
What happened to the original star? Then?
What?
So there was not an original star.
The guy's holding on to it. And they're going to use it again.
Oh, so
that's the star.
There was
only one star, right? Only one star. Okay, now this halacha that you have to pay up is subject to this discussion. Let's see a Tosfos on Pei Daled Amid Beis, the bottom Tosfos. Again, that the shliach messed up Avimi by paying up. This is the discussion of at the bottom Tosfos. L'tkune shad resicha, I sent you to be metakein loyla visi and not to mess me up. Dafke mishum da haskil loy likach star, right? He told him to get the star. Oy betchila, oy besoif. In other words, what was the lashon? Whether he said get the star and pay up, or he said pay up and get the star. But he mentioned what? Getting the star. Either way, with the beginning and end, he mentioned what? Getting the star. Good. This lay a sukkah daite. V'likach me mashtar koidem. Avom loy hiske loy lekichas ashtar. If you didn't mention anything about the shtar at all, v'loyom latfei ela hav zuzeh. You only say give the money, then potter. Then the shliach li potter. The matzi amar atnehim meres lahu. V'loyamatili shakol shtar. You believe me, and you didn't go ahead by the time to take the shtar. Kilmin and gabe, and he brings the right for ken money up and costly. So we're getting a little clarity. That we said, no, when do we say you can taina, I sent you to attacking me and not to mess me up? That's Daf if you mentioned getting the shtar. Whether you give the money or get the money, I tell you to get the shtar, and you didn't get the shtar, right? So then you pay up. But if you didn't mention any shtar at all, the guy, if Avimi had not mentioned shtar at all, he'd be potter. He'd be potter. You couldn't taina that what? Because he could have tied it. Listen, you didn't tell me to get it. You believe me. Then since you believe you trusted me to do the right thing, I gave the money. That's it. You believe me to be.
Why don't you just say, I told you to get the star? Why is he saying,
Again, the Gemara, Tais is explaining the Gemara. If you leave the Gemara, it's mashma that in any situation, in all situations, he's going to pay. So Tais, that's not true. He's qualifying it. That we say that you can taina is only if he mentioned the shtar. If he didn't mention the shtar, then what? Then he wouldn't be taina. In other words, Tais is qualifying the answer. Okay, very good. Okay, back in the Gemara. There was this woman. She was entrusted with a tick full of starish. Star that you owed money. You had a bunch of stars that you owed, IOUs. Asa Yarshim, the father died. Asa Yarshim came along and and they said, give it to us. Now, she was owed money by the guy who entrusted her to watch this. She was a malva, and she was owed money by that person. So Amruluhu, so she said to them, Mechaim Tavsinu. I was typhus at Mechaim. Guys, back to yesterday's Amid Bay's top line, right? Rabbi Kiva Tfisulay Mahanya Cloud, Amarava, Amrav Nachman, Husha Tafis Mechaim. In other words, there is a scenario that even according to when we pass like Rabbi Kiva, that when this Tfisa held Mechaim. So Hataina was, you know what? It was in my jurisdiction. Yeah, he died. I was being typhus by this because I have a chayv by your father who's not in this world anymore. It was in my rishus. I was typhus in mechayim. Therefore, I don't have to give it back to you. That was the claim. So Asla Kameder of Nachman. They came now. They brought the shail in front of Rav Nachman and Amalei Islucha Sade de Tavua Minach Mechayim. Do you have edis that he was tayvei you mechayim? In other words, you claim that you were typhus it now. Do you have edus that you would tayveya him, that you would tayveya mechayim? So v'lo yavinus ne'alei, you didn't give it to him. I'm like, then kain havi tfis lachamisa and tfis lachamisa lav klami. In other words, when you're watching something for somebody, it's considered like vis-a-vis this halach. It's considered another person's rishus. My shtar is in your jurisdiction, but it's mine. It's mine. It's there. Had there been people who came along with you with tayveya and you didn't give it back, that would be tfisa mechayim. But since nothing happened, no one's tavei you whatsoever, he entrusted you to watch it, so you're a shomer, but it's like he puts it like you can look like shmir like this, guys. When you watch something, let's say you're watching my I don't know, let's say my most prized possession. You're watching my I don't even know. No. I have a becha. My prized possession is my becha. My Rashiva gave me a becha for my wedding. So I go ahead and I go to a very trustworthy person, Pinchas Elio Fisher. So I go to his house and he says, here, there's a safe. Put it in the safe. So pshat is that safe, that area is not pennies. I'm like renting sort of that area to watch it. Now, you can view it that way. That in other words, it's not my object in pennies rishus. It's my rishus. So if when he entrusts you to watch it, so you're watching it, it's like considered in your rishus. So it is rishus. So it wasn't like you would touch the had someone kind of made a claim and you would have said no, then that would have been tefisa. But no one made a claim. He just entrusted you to watch it. So therefore, it's not a tefisa.
The owner of the shtar is the one that has to make the claim. Who else is?
She correct. It's in his what?
You said that who has to make the claim against her, and she has to have witnesses that somebody made a claim against her and she refused. Who? The owner.
Look at Amallah. He said to her, maybe am I touching this wrong? You have art school there. Islech Sadeh, do you have Edis that the Menach that was the what?
Here he says that the father.
Claim from you.
was
That's
bad.
that's what I said. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. That's what I said. Exactly what I said. That he's claiming she has it, but it's considered his in her rishus. That's exactly what I'm telling you. My becha is considered mine in Penny's rishus. So who adin, this star is considered his star in her rishus. But again, it's not. It's his rishus. That's good. I'm never convinced if I speak louder that you understand better. I just do it. I do it for the. Yeah. No, you understand. Again, that's good. Doctor, be quiet. Let's throw you on. Anyway, let's see Rashi here. Maybe Rashi will help us out a little bit, even though I understand this. Maybe Rashi will help us out. Miloga de shtare tick. It was a tick. It was a briefcase. Moli shtaros. So she tied it mechayim tafisn lahu. B'choyiv shehoya chayiv li. The choyiv that your father was mechayiv to me. Hichzachti mehem. I'm being maslik in them. So he said that what? And they did make a claim. So in Cain, have tfisa la'achamisa. Shekol zman shoyachai. The whole time he was alive, how you pikadain biyada. His pikadain is by you. Varihain kimunachim b'shusay. It's like it's lying what in his rishus. That's exactly what I said. You see that he's close to death. The toughest matatlin the shem chovo, and you pick up the matatlin the shem chov. And then it would not be a pikadon in the hand. Good, but when it's like I went ahead, I took the becher, I put it in Penny's safe, I closed the safe, right? So in order for the becher to be in Penny's rishus, it would have to be that he made a kinyan on it before. Okay, I don't want to verbalize what I was thinking. Anyway. Another case. Again, these are guys. These 7 comes all case of tfisa, right? They're all case of being typhus. Again, this halacha. So there was this woman, the achayva shvua beidina. She was a chayv shvua to bezdin. In other words, Rashi says shahaya adam toivei and mamin v'hi kaiferes. The person was claiming money from her, and she was saying, "I don't owe you anything." So this makes a claim that's mechayv shvua. So this is a fascinating Gemara. So there was mechayv shvua beidina de Rava. So they came to court. This man says this woman owes me $1,000. The woman says, I never, not a dime. Halacha, make a shvua, right? Make a shvua, and the rabbanon, and make a shvua and get off the hook. So now, Amrulei Bas Rav Chisda said to him, the Bas Rav Chisda. Now we all know Bas Rav Chisda was Rav's wife. Good. So Bas Rav Chisda said to Rava, Yodana ba the chashuda ashvua. I know, you know what? That this person is chashuda ashvua. In other words, I know her, and you cannot trust her. She is what? She'll swear falsely like in a second. So what's the halacha? Chashuda ashvua. What do we do then? We take the shvua. So she make a shvua she doesn't owe. Now the guy who made the claim of 1,000, he would make a shvua that she owes me 1,000. It's called the shvua kenegda, shvua opposite. So what did Rabbi do? After Rabbi the shvua achsha kenegda. Rabbi was mapik the shvua asher kenegda opposite her, meaning okay. Zin and Haviyasu kamei Rav Papa the Rav Ada bar Masna, and there was a case where Rav Papa and Rav Ada bar Masna were sitting. And I see Shtora Gabe, a star came in front of them. Omra Papa, Yadanabe, the Shtora Pariya here. I know that the star was what? It was paid off. Amalei. So Rav Adabar, they said to Rav, Ika Inish Achrina Bahadei, Damar, Amalei Lai. Amalei Afagav the Ikamar, Eid Echad, Lav Klomu. Even though you're Eid Echad, right? You Afagav the Ikamar, right? You Eid Echad, Lav Klomu. And Eid Echad, but collect money. Is why there's nothing. The guy has to make a shvua to collect. An eidecha can be mechayiv yeshua, guys. An eidecha can be mechayiv yeshua, but it's you are not believed to say that the shtar wad is paid off. The great Rav Papa not believe. Good. Amalei Rav Adam Masda v'lo yei Rav Papa kibas Rav Chisda, and so he said to Rava, with Rav Papa is less than what the wife of the daughter of Rav Chisda. In other words, you said that the daughter of a chista you believed unequivocally. No problem. You believed her, right? Now you have Reb Papa saying to Shtab Perua, yeah? You don't believe Reb Papa should be less than what? Pastor of chista? Who? No. He says, I know that this star is Peria, that's all. Okay, maybe it could be his Nageya. But what do you say? So Kim, now listen what he says. Rabbi says, Bas Rav Chista Kimli Bigava. I know her. Mar loy Kimli Bigave. But him, I don't know. Rashi says the Kimli Bigava Delem Shakra. There's an unbelievable halacha that you extrapolate from this. That a dayan, not Adis, if the dayan knows for sure that this person that's saying it, you know people, each one of us knows the person that you can be trustworthy al shamayim. There are not many of them, but we all know a guy that if you're in a fight in an alleyway, they got your back. They're going to be there for you because they're trustworthy and they're loyal. Basra of Kista, if she's saying that this woman is a Chosher al Shvua, Rava, who knows his wife well, said for sure she's telling the truth. No question about it. You're Papa, as great as you are in learning, that level of understanding in you personally, I don't have. But you see from here that a dayan can go ahead and paskin based upon this, right? The dayan went ahead and he said, okay, the shvu is not on you, I threw it over there. Mikoyach what? Mikoyach the wife. Mikoyach Kimli. Mikoyach Kimli. The lashon is Kimli. It's Kimli B'Gavei. That the dayan has such a, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's logistic, you know, the Torah is a live thing. It makes a lot of sense. If you know this person without a shadow of a doubt, again, if Rav Moshe Feinstein would tell me something, I would, whatever, that's it. It's Rav Moshe Feinstein. Right? Okay. I mean, I know, maybe I believe Rav Moshe better. Maybe I knew him better. You know what I'm saying? That. Okay, so now, Amar Papa said to Papa, Hashta the Amar Kimli Bigave, Milsahi. Now you're telling me that no knowledge of an individual is what is in Milsa. Going Abba Ma'barei, the Kimli Bigave, Abba Ma'barei, Abba my son, the Kimli Bigave, Korashtara Apume. I would rip a star up on his mouth. If he said the star is paid up, I'd rip it up. You can't just rip up a star like that. I mean, what halacha? Maybe not used to collect it, but to rip it up. Says Rashi, in other words, you're going to go ahead. Is one person believed to take right a star that's written up in the hands of a person's muhsik to go ahead? You want to take money away from them? You can't do that. You need to aid them. But in other words, he messed the star up. I wouldn't collect with it. In other words, guys, to rip up a star to say there's no chayiv, that I wouldn't do. To use the star to go ahead, why and pay up, that I won't do. Yeah, that's too much dragus. In other words, to rip up the star and say there's no chayiv, you need what? To aid him. But Kimli B'Gavei, that if he says this star is paid up, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to believe it. So I think there's a fascinating. Again, you have to bring Adam. You know, you have to bring Adam. That Adam, yeah. Kimli postponed that. Now, what did he say? What did Rav Papa say, guys? Rav Papa said that he said Marbre, right? Now, Ed, when you finish Masechta, what do you say? Kanina ba Papa, Rami ba Papa, Nachman ba Papa, Achoy ba Papa, Abba Mori ba Papa, Rafim ba Papa, Rachish ba Papa, Sur ba Papa, Ada ba Papa, Dora ba Papa. He had 10 sons. He didn't say all 10 give Kimli B'Gavei. He only said Mar, and he wasn't his oldest son. The Charetz going to order. He said Abba Mamrei. In other words, it gives you an idea of a Kimli, guys. It gives you an idea of Kimli. I think it's a beautiful diak, right? In other words, he didn't say all of my sons. I'd say Kimli. Of all his 10 sons, he said Abba Mari. I would believe. In other words, Kimli, whatever it is, that it's an insight into what the person is. It's a geshmaka diak, right? Because again, you have all these kids, and nonetheless, he said, "Oh, you know what? I had," and you can't tell me he was the only one around then because he's in the middle, right? So it's geshmaka. So that it gives you an idea what Kimli is. The Kimli is a certain hakara that you have an individual.
Both of these cases, they were proven. In other words, they had intimate knowledge of them. It sounds like maybe you couldn't say I trust your emotion like that because you didn't know him personally.
Okay, I'll go my Rabbi. Okay, okay, my Rabbi. So again, I just gave an example. You know, some, you know, I can't even tell. Maybe your own kid. You know, you have certain kids that you know that are more again, obviously, Rav Papa had in this kid had a certain, you think about it. What?
Few of your kids would have your back in the alley.
No, they in front. Like Penny, he said that 3 of my kids would have my back in the alley. I said, no, they have my front.
They have your front and your back.
Right. And side.
And you only need one kid. You don't need 3. Pick your choice.
Okay. Anyway, so I think it's such a fascinating idea, but you see from the Gemara that Rav Papa is like, not all my kids. Dafke this guy. I think it really gives you a schmack. And you know what? He understood what Rava was saying. After Rava tiny that what Kimli and my wife, and then the Rav Papa said, "Oh, that's what Kimli is," and he applied it to himself. He didn't say, "Hey, your wife, but not me." He didn't say that. He understood what he meant, and he went and applied it to. It's a very geschmack Gemara. It's very very geschmack. Just push him shot. Push him shot. That's good. Okay. He wakes up in the other day. Says Hayis, another case. Hayis is that there was this woman. The Chayiv Shvua Beidina de Rav Bibi Bar Abaya. The Chayiv Shvua in the Bezdin of Rav Bibi, the son of Abaya. Names are important. Bibi Bar Abaya. So Bibi was the son of Abaya. Amalahu Ahu Baldin. Teise v'tishba b'masa, efshe the michsafa u'moida. In other words, she was claiming what? I guess there was a court case came, and it was chayav shvua, and the Baldin said, "Listen, she won't be so quick to make a shvua in a hometown. Maybe it might be embarrassing, so I'll go to the hometown." And so Amalahu, so she said, "You know what?" She said to Bibi, "Kosvali zachvasa, write a star." Write a star to what? Write a star that would be signed in the future that I made a shvua. In other words, obviously I'm not making a shvua here, but I don't want a problem. What I want is I'm not going to bezdin twice. I want when I make a shvua, I'm clean and neat. So you write a star that when we're going to go to the bezdin, your shluchim will go and they'll sign this star that says, you know what, that I came to Bibi and I made a shvua. Not that again, the Rabbi says you're going to sign it after she makes the shvua based upon the knowledge of Bibi in the bezdin before. Okay, so now the chimish tabana, when I do swear, Yavli, they'll give it to me. In other words, I'm going to swear. I'll swear and they'll give me the money. So that's what I wanted to do. So Amalahu Rav Bibi Barabaya, Kosvula, write it for her. Amarav Papi, Mishim da Asisu Mimuloi, Amisa Mili Mulisa. Since you come from people who are cut down, you're saying cut down things. A difficult lashon. We learned the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Daf Yud Ches, that question Abaya V'Rabba, Abaya V'Rava, they came on base Eli. The Eli, we just learned the Haftarah, but the Eli, they were at the Chafni and Pinchas, they were Mavasa Kotchim. As a result, they got a klala that they're not going to live, right? We said so. One Rabbi was Isaac in lived 40 years, and Abaya lived 60 years. And my first, I think so. Yeah. Anyway, so you're Bibi Bar Abaya. So you said something that what is truncated. So you come from what you come from truncated people. You're saying truncated things, okay? In other words, how in the world could you go ahead and sign this document stating that she made a shvua by you? Good, it'll be signed later on. How can you say that? Amarava, why? Listen to this Gemara. Hi Ashrata. Guys, we had an Ashrata. That's a henpeck. What's a henpeck? It's an Bezdin authenticating signatures. We had early in the Masechta the sugi of Kiyam Shtaris, where you had to authenticate the signatures. So you'd come to Bezdin, and Bezdin would write what's called a henpeck. Then the lashon that, why do you write to say? That they would sit and they said we have 3 dayanim, and they came in front of us and we authenticated it. So Hayashrata the Daini, the Michtacha that was written up, that we sat and he signed in front of us, and it was written up, and then Mikami de Nachi Sade Achasimasai, before the Eidim got a chance to go ahead and testify, Yadai Psula. In other words, what would they write? In front of us came so and so and testified so and so that these are the signatures. Good. Let's say they wrote that out, and then the guy would go ahead and testify. No good. Because michsei keshikra. Why does michsei keshikra? Because it's mashma that what? We wrote it up, after they testify. What do you want to do over here? You want to go ahead and say that what? A shliach is going to go ahead, sign this later on, that what? That he came in front of you and made a shvua by Bibi's bezdin. Isn't that michsei keshikra? Doesn't it appear what? That it's a lie? Right? So therefore, said Rapapi, you Rabbi, how in the world could you do this? In fact, they didn't swear in front of you. They're swearing in another bezdin. And you're writing something that, okay, no sweat up your back. But again, to be medayik the way you're supposed to be medayik, it's michsei keshikra. It appears if it's a lie. It appears if it's a lie. Alma, what do we see? Michsei keshikra. By the henpeck, it's michsei keshikra because they even didn't testify yet. Hachanami over here regarding writing the zachvasa, the shtar that they swore, michsei keshikra. Right? It appears if it's sheker. However, it's not true. Midrav Nachman. Dam Rav Nachman. Even if you find a star in a garbage dump and sign it, right? This is speaking about a get. But I feel Rabbanan like pligeled Reb Meir el bekitei nashim. Again, they argue Reb Meir by kitei nashim. The being kasiv l'shma. You need to get written l'shma. Al v'shar shtarai smaydalahu. By star stories, you might do that what that you can even you can use a star, such a star. Don't Ravasi and Rabbi Yochanan star shalayva boy upayroi ain't a chayz of a loiva boy. A star that guys, that's the guys. I go ahead and I write a star. I borrow money from Chaim Lax. Good. I buy money. Chaim Lax. I'm using your name to wake you up, Chaim. Right. I'm not being successful. Anyway, so I write a star. I write a star that I owe Chaim Lax money. Good. And now I pay him up. And then then we go through the same thing again. Now you use the star again, right? Can you do it? You can't do it. You know why? Right? Ain't a chayz of shibudai because you michael the shibud on what the lien on the previous loan. Timer. The reason you can't use it is the nimchal shibudai is because why? Because the lien you're michael the lien. Aval amid base lemichse keshikra lechashinan. Guys, you're going to have a star that was pre-used, right? Use it again. So what do you see? So that there's no problem with michsei keshikra. So therefore, what? You should be able, Rabbi should be able to go ahead and write this star zachvasa that the shvua took place. Again, you're signing it later on. Again, all these cases, these are very full cases. Again, all these cases are sources of discussion in a sefer called the Kesuvos HaChoshen, a very famous sefer written on Choshen Mishpat. Says the next case. Ahu Gavra, there was this individual, the Ifkid Shev Marganisa, Titzayir Besadina. He was entrusted to watch 7 pearls that were tied up in some type of handkerchief. Good? 7 pearls tied up. The pearls seemed to be worth a lot of money. It seemed to be worth a lot of money. They Rebbe, and where were they entrusted to? They Rebbe my Usha Bar Berei Rav Yeshua ben Levi. I think. How do you pronounce it? Meyasha. I think Meyasha. Not Meyarasha, but no. Miyasha. Okay. So now, who was the Shomer? Meyasha was the Shomer. Good. Shachar Rab Meyasha. He was nifter. V'loy pocket, and he did not what? He did not command his children about this. So what did they think? It was his.
Water.
Right? Yeah. They thought, hey, listen. Right? They thought it was his, right? It's mine. Now, so this court case came in front of Asla Kamid Rav Ami. This court case came in front of Ami, Rav Moshe's kids, and the person who entrusted it. So Amalei, Rav Ami said the following. Choda, the Adonai Be Rav Moshe. No, of course, not the right way to say it. Meyasha. Okay, anyway. The Adonai Be Meyasha, Bar Berei Rav Yeshua ben Levi, the Loyamid. First of all, I know he wasn't rich. So it's mistaba that that wasn't his. But in addition, Hakayav Simana. You guys giving a simon. It was 7 in a handkerchief with a knot. He was giving a simon. Good. Now listen to this. So why do you need the taina that I don't know is rich? Why isn't the simon enough? It's mashma. You need both. In other words, if he's giving a simon, we say that only if he wasn't accustomed to coming and visiting there. Avol rogel the ayel v'nakel lahasam. If he was accustomed to come and visiting there, ema inish achrina afkid. Maybe another person entrusted Maisha to watch it. V'yu michsei chadzi, and he saw it. Good. Says Taisus. V'oid hakayav simana. Ein lefarish v'oid afilu amid. The e amid ma'moil simin. Dilma zavna mine. Maybe he bought it from him. Afa gav the high simin the tzayir b'sadina. Ein regilas leida im loishe hifke etzloi. Mikol makaim. Okay. So in other words, says Taisus, don't explain v'oid afilu amid. Even if he was wealthy. The Yomid Ma'moil Asim wanted to help. Dilma Zavna Mine. In other words, it's two separate things. Don't think the following. And if he was rich, what would you say? He bought it from him? In other words, if he was rich, then he bought the things from him, right? Right? And then Appa gave the high simin that Sire Bisadine, even though what? In other words, Ein Lefarish for Oid Afilu Amid. Don't say afilu amid. The e amid ma moil has simin. If he's wealthy, what does the simin help? Don't say that. Dilmazav nemine. Afagav the simin that tzayir b'sadina. Ein regilas leida im loishe hifked etzlei. He wouldn't have known about it unless he gave it to him. Mikolmakam b'kasa the kaspa. The next case mitaksa the b'samech leka simin ela begufam. They must have a simin to think itself. V'ahu lo have a simin. That was not a simin shehifked. That he gave. Then you could possibly say that he bought it. So I think over here he's saying, Taisus seems to be saying that the simon would have been enough. One more time. I want to make sure I'm telling you right shot. Don't explain, even if he is rich, that you won't give it back to him. The amid ma'moila simin dilma zav nemine. We don't say that. Afagav the high simin sayir b'sadina. Ein regilas leida. He wouldn't have known about it unless you have ketzlei. In other words, that seems to be like that. Good. Okay, very good. So in other words, a simon would have been enough. So that's va'oid. In other words, va'oid. It's not in addition to. It's two separate dinim. Right. Good. Ahu gavra difkid kasa de kaspa a silver becha bechasa and the hasa chasa. Shafel chasa died. Below pocket, and he didn't tell his kids about this about the silver becha. He didn't tell the kids about the silver becha. Also, Kamed Rav Nachman, he came in front of Rav Nachman. Amalei Yodana Be Bechasa, Delay Amid. I know he wasn't wealthy. V'oid Hakayav Simana. V'loy Amron El Delay Rogel the Ayel V'Nafik Lehasam. Aval Rogel the Ayel V'Nafik Lehasam. Ema Inishachrina. If good, maybe another person entrusted with him. V'yu Michsei Chase, and he saw it. Ahu the Afgid Mitaxa. Taxa, I think, is tam a beged of silk, right? Some silken beged. Be Rav Dimi. Achua the Rav Safra, the brother of Rav Safra, Shochev Rav Dimi, V'lei Pocket, he didn't tell his kids about it. Also, made the Rav Abba, Amlu Chada the Yadana Bar Rav Dimi Dlei Amid, V'oid, Hakayav Simana, V'lei Amaran El Dlei Rugel the Ayel, V'nafik L'Hasam. Ava Rugel the Ayel, V'nafik L'Hasam, Ema Inish Achrina Afgid, V'yu Michse Chase. Ahu Damalahu, Nechase L'Tuvya. My Nechasim should go to a person named Tuvya, or I'm saying Tuvia. Shochev, the person died. Asa Tavia showed up the guy named Tavia. Amr Yochanan, Hari bought Tavia. Right? Good. In other words, that's it. That he got it. Good. Amma Tavia, the Asa Rav Tavia, the Tavia Amma Rav Tavia Le'amar. In other words, if he said give it to Tavia and a person who's known as Rav Tavia, he doesn't get it. The Inish the Gospe, and however, if this person was Bakant with Rav Tavia, meaning he's on a first name basis, then Hagasve, and therefore you could give it what to Rav Tavia. Because again, he calls him, Asu Shnei Tavia, right? Let's say two Tavia showed up. One is Shachin, is a neighbor. The Talmud Chacham, the other one's a Talmud Chacham. Then Talmud Chacham Kaidim. Talmud Chacham would get first. And as we say that the guy wanted to go ahead and give it to Talmud Chacham. Rashi says an interesting reason why. Let's see Rashi. Talmud Chacham Kaidim. The Mistama Odim Matzdik Myself. The schus b'shas misa. A person, when he's dying, he wants to go ahead and get a schus. So to give it to a shachin is not a schus. To give it to a talmud chacham is a schus. The Amar, Kol Naviyim le'nisnavu elo mahani talmid chachamim menechasa. The Naviyim nisnavet to be mahani talmid chachamim. In other words, it's a svara to say if this guy's dying, he's on his deathbed, he doesn't want his money to go to the veterans hospital, the pet hospital. He wants his money to go to a Talmud Chacham. He wants his money to go for the right reason. Okay, next case. Korev Talmud Chacham. Let's say one of Tavia turns out to be a relative and a Talmud Chacham. Nonetheless, Talmud Chacham Chaydim will still apply the same idea. Now, what about Shachim and the Korev? Iboilu Shachim v'Korev might. One Tavia is next to a neighbor that they've been friends for years, and the other one is a blood relative. Might. Tashma, Toiv Shachim Korev me'ach rachak. Better a close Shachim than a distant brother. Right? So therefore, the Shachim would get it. Yeah, the Shachim would get it. Shneim Kroivim, they're both Kroivim. Shneim Shneim, they're both neighbors. Shneim Chachamim, Masadin. Then Shuta the Daini will leave it up to the Dayanim. We'll leave it up to Shuta the Daini, like not flip a coin. No, look at Rashi. It's not a coin flip, Baruch. Everything's not football, you know. Anyway, Shuta the Daina. What does Rashi explains what Shuta the Daina is? I thought he explained that. No, he did. Where is it? You have Shuda name? Why can't I find it? Okay, I got it. Shuda the Daina, Hatolas the Dayanim, Lefi Mashi Yiru, right? Dayanim. Shahaya Darka Shal Meis, Lakari Vezer, Yosimizeh. That we placed it upon the Dayanim to know who he was closer to, the one of the two people that died. Oymisha B'Shneim Toiv, V'Noyig B'Derech Yishara, in other words, Dayanim, we leave it up to them to do their investigation and figure out, since these people are of equal status, and we can't be an umdina. Oh, Talmud Chacham. Oh, a shachim. That's an umdina. That he wants to give a shachim over a karev. He wants to give it to Talmud Chacham over both a shachim and a karev. Right? That's an umdina. We'll be oimid on his das. But when you don't have umdina, then you leave it up to the investigation of powers of the dayanim to 1 second. Who do you? In other words, any side that to go, then you give it to that person.